girls team.
I'm gonna text him.
Okay.
Yeah, he's definitely on. Good contact.
Light crowd.
It's a beautiful night.
It's a nice night. Oh, you're gonna be cute.
I know, maybe we should get going. Okay, everyone, we're waiting for Chris Taylor to come back on, but we will get started. Hi to everyone online, and welcome to the Friday, May 21st meeting of the Hidden Valley Board of Directors. The first part of the meeting always is the opportunity for those of you out there to ask any questions or provide any comments or information. Someone want to admit him? Megan, can you do that?
Oh, there we go.
For the benefit of the board. So anyone out there who would like to make a comment? There he is.
Yes, Pat, I have a question about the budget.
Okay,
Uh,
go
I'm-
right ahead.
Okay, our committee submitted some things to the Finance Committee, and I was a little disappointed to see that they actually reduced the amounts. And I was wondering if, in other words, I look at the budget and I really don't recognize, it doesn't look anything like what we submitted. And I was wondering if there was an explanation.
For record-keeping purposes, Dennis Carroll is asking the question. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Dennis, I can follow up with you afterwards. What I did was I took your requests, and they have been incorporated into the overall budget. So you'll see tonight, there's a separate line item in the capital budget that's specific to your committee's request. And then you had like several line items, I think. I combined those into one line item in the operating budget. So the amounts that you requested are incorporated into the overall budget. I made sure that your requests are fully funded. And I can show you where those are in the budget.
Sorry, Bob, but I hate to disagree. But I see that, one, yes, you did commingle things in the landscaping line item, but I look at it and I see there's a $7,000 difference, plus the study, which we weren't able to do last year because of COVID. That funding wasn't carried over, and I was a little surprised to see that.
So, again, Dennis, I mean, I'd have to go back and look at your specific request, but I do believe that your amounts requested are included in the operating and in the capital budget. If somehow I missed it, I mean, we have some other line items where we have availability for some consulting, et cetera. We can make sure that your requests are funded.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Anyone else? Okay. If I missed anybody, let us know later on. So we will call the meeting to order at 7:09 p.m. Roll call, John?
All right, Pat McGrail,
Present?
Bob Kohler,
Present?
John Eddie,
I'm here.
Dan Martin,
Here.
Bill Leisure,
Here.
Chris Taylor,
Yep.
John Dickinson here.
Quorum present. Thanks, John. Everyone's had an opportunity to review the agenda. Do I have a motion to set the agenda?
So moved.
Motion by Bob Kohler. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by John Eddie. Any questions or comments on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Opposed? So ordered.
Gotta give him 10 seconds there.
I know, I got that delay. Everybody received a copy of the minutes of the April 16th, 2021 board meeting. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make that motion. I got the second.
Motion by Dan Martin, seconded by Bill Leisure. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So ordered. The board had discussed, the purchase of an electronic, folding machine for the office. This is a piece of equipment that, we'll be using, as a result of our turning to a self-management model. And the board did vote, remotely to approve the purchase of that folding machine. So tonight we're going to ratify, that action taken. Do we have a motion to approve that purchase?
I'll make a motion to approve the electronic vote for purchase of a folding machine for, office for Southbridge Center One.
I'll second that.
Motion by John Eddie, second by Bob Kohler. Any questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Okay, treasurer's report, Bob.
Okay, thank you, Pat. So as I typically do, I'll combine the treasurer's report, finance committee report, and audit committee report. I will have to tell you that this is probably one of the most unusual treasurer's reports I have given in my time as treasurer. And I say that because through the 9-month period ended March 31st, we're showing a surplus after transferring to reserves of $350,000. So you might sit back and say to yourself, well, why in the world did that happen? Well, as I went through and analyzed things, it was really a perfect storm this year of an active real estate market with more unit sales than we've ever had, a pandemic, right, and a good ski season that did not require a significant number of snow removal events. So we got some large snows, right, that stayed on the ground. And when you added all those together, right, it produced a surplus. So a little bit more specifically, those entrance fees that we charge when new homeowners join the community at $500 a piece, combined with the resale certificate fees, we're $55,000 over budget because we had a significant number of sales. So that's to the good. Our payroll and related expenses are $112,000 less than budget because we had an unfilled position for almost the entire year, a gap in the ED position, and some savings in on payroll taxes and the related benefits. We also, due to COVID, we did not operate the shuttle this year, so that was a $40,000 savings. Our grounds maintenance and professional fees are under budget by about $50,000 in total. Now, that's largely due to timing. So some of that I expect to see pick up here in May and June, so we will utilize some of that. And then snow removal, we're $72,000 under budget in total. So, and I think kudos to our team and good coordination with the outside vendors. So out of that $350,000 surplus, $330,000 of it is attributed to those items that I just ticked off, or 94% of it. So a good news, but just something in my years as treasurer, something unusual. I've never had to report that before. So continuing on.
Had to or never got to?
Never got to. How about that, Dan? Yes. So very good news there. So using my treasurer's dashboard to kind of hit some of the highlights, our financial position remains strong, and at March 31st, we have always collected a lot of funds in advance from our homeowners. So we get a lot of folks that pay us early, so our cash position swells at the beginning of the quarter. So our days operating cash on hand was 201 days. So we're able to kind of keep the lights on for a little bit over 6 months from an operating perspective. Our accounts receivable delinquencies, we continue to do well there, 68,000 in total. There are 5 large accounts that make up that over 90-day category, and one of those is the one I continue to report on, which is tied up in an estate, but we do continue to work on that. Our replacement fund, we stand at $2.5 million at March 31st. We have almost $350,000 of appreciation. So our investment managers, Gayasuda and Somerset Trust Company, have done a very good job for us managing our portfolio in accordance with our investment policy. Our capital budget for the year, we have spent about $290,000 on a $533,000 budget. I anticipate that with the remaining projects that are underway, we'll probably spend about 70% of the total. You may recall we had some significant savings on the one project down at Imperial Road. We were $50,000 under budget, and we had also put in the capital budget to put a salt dome down at the Gardner Road lot. We have now decided not to do that. So those are really the reasons why we won't spend the full capital budget. In terms of our contracts, the one that is coming up is the management company. We have terminated that, and we are on our way to changing over to self-management. Snow removal, our snow removal vendor has notified us that they will not be in business next year, and Megan is spearheading, along with Brian, getting out our snow removal RFP. On the second page of the dashboard, gives you some of the non-financial measures that I typically report on. So our work orders, we're slightly below target there, but we did have a maintenance person on leave for about 2 months in the October-November time period. And then, of course, snow removal and vacation, those types of things obviously impact our performance there. Down at the bottom of the dashboard, some of the other interesting statistics. I always like to report on our real estate activity. So this information is as of Monday of this week from Mike Mikulich. So the numbers have probably changed, actually, but the total units sold in the fiscal year, July 1 through April 30th, 131. So go back to my opening comment about that increase in the entrance fees and resale certificate revenue. That's where it's coming from. And the property is currently listed for sale as of Monday, 6. Compared to the same time last year, unit sales of 65 and units listed for sale last year, 60 units at this time. So really a dramatic change in the real estate market, which has contributed to us financially. So a couple of other things from the treasurer's desk to report. Obviously, I've been actively involved in getting our budgets ready, and tonight the board will be asked to vote on proposed budgets for the upcoming fiscal year. The Finance Committee has been very busy as well. They have met twice. They met on April 13th to go through the initial budget proposals. They also met on Monday night of this week to talk about the capital budget and the proposed building project. The Audit Committee has not met, but will be gearing up here in the summer months as we start our audit process. And we have also been busy implementing the new TOPS accounting system. So I'm going to ask Anna, our Manager of Accounting, to just give a brief update on where we are with the accounting system conversion.
Well, we...
Closer there, Anna.
We're in the process of inputting the smallest of the associations, Summit Village 2, so that we understand how the software works. We're working with a TOPS consultant, and what we're trying to do is make sure that we have the same numbers for April that we do with First Service. And after that is successful, we're on track to then upload the rest of the communities, the other 4 communities, especially the largest one, Hidden Valley Foundation, and track that through May to make sure, once again, that we're on track for having the same financial statements as they produced in May. And along with that, we have to get new banks, new accounts that aren't associated with First Service. So our rep from TOPS put us in touch with a bank, Mutual of Omaha, formerly, now it's CIT, which they specialize in homeowner associations, and they seem very knowledgeable. So that's who we're working with to get the 5 accounts, operational accounts, up and running that they actually work with TOPS and integrate the software between the two, between the bank and TOPS. So it looks like it's going to be a good project and it's on track.
Okay, good.
Thank you for the update, Anna, appreciate it. Madam President, that concludes my treasurer's report.
Well, you know what, I don't have any questions, but I do want to say this. You know, Bob gives a concise report, you know, Anna just told us about the software turnover, but I wanted everybody to know, this has taken a huge effort by Megan and Anna and Bob. We have new software. I've been kind of the liaison with First Service. So far, they seem to hate me the least. And
You carry the big stick.
and so the transition is happening, but they're minimizing the effort. I really think I'd be remiss if I didn't say this has been a yeoman effort, by staff and by Bob to get this done. Looks to me like, we're gonna be right on track to start in our new form as of July 1. Our employees transition tonight at midnight to Hidden Valley Foundation employees, so that's exciting. And so the rest of it, in terms of accounts payables and our other financial information, will be transitioned over the next 30 days or so. So far, so good. It looks like TOPS was a good choice, and we appreciate everybody's cooperation in getting it done. But thank you to all of you.
Thank you, Pat.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve Bob's report?
I'll make a motion to accept treasurer's report as reported.
Second?
I'll second it.
Motion by John Eddie, second by Bill Leisure. Any questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So ordered. Maintenance supervisor report. Brian?
Sure. Thank you, Pat. Just gonna focus on the big picture items that myself and the maintenance team have been working on, within the last month here. Our main efforts have been on the pools. We have had a few hiccups along the way, a couple more than normal and some that weren't expected, but nothing that, couldn't be overcome, and all pools are up and functioning. The new chlorine and pH controls that were installed, it did take a little bit of education, and the gentleman that installed them, he did come up and provide training for all the maintenance team. The last two controls for the baby pool and the Highlands pool were brought online today. So come next week, which is the most exciting part to me, is we can integrate that to an app on your cell phone. So from my couch, I can look at what's going on in the pools, which is pretty cool.
No, she said couch. No address, just couch.
On my couch. Or my bed, wherever it may be.
Well, that is pretty cool.
It is, yeah. So, and, it takes a little bit to dial them in, just like anything else, but, so far, so good.
Probably should have said at my desk.
When I'm here at my desk. At home, it's on my couch.
There may be a cold beverage nearby.
There may or may not be.
It's not a reach.
Outside of all of that, we've been assisting with all the efforts going on here in the office, moving furniture, painting, patching, closing the area where the vending machines used to be, things of that nature. Other than that, JML Landscape Management, their efforts have been on track for this year. I see no problem with them meeting all of their deadlines come this Friday for all the items that need to be completed. Also, Leaselock Excavating has been in the process of working on the stormwater remediation efforts on Ridgeview Road. They've been fighting a bit of rain. They've come across a handful of utilities that needed to be relocated. So things have been a little slow going in that manner, but, they will finish by their deadline of the end of the fiscal year. Looking forward, we're gonna really try and hunker down on getting some work orders done. Things have been busy here in the office and with the pools and everything else. And then we're also gonna get that second bocce court up and installed, hopefully here in the next week or two. have all the materials, everything's ready to go. So just gotta find our time to get it in now that full season's past us. And the last thing I wanted to touch base on was the road line striping. That is tentatively planned for next week. The weather is looking a little iffy, so, they've got it scheduled first couple night stays that we have, they're gonna get it done.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
I have one question.
I was just gonna say, questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
Clarify something for me.
Mhm.
We're at the budget meeting, and an individual from Old Hidden Valley said there's still an issue with drainage over at Old Hidden Valley. Are you aware?
On Imperial?
Yes,
Yes.
he said the 400 block of Imperial.
So Megan had mentioned that to me the other day. I think what he's referring to is an area in the road that only has limestone in it. That was a water leak repaired by the utility company.
Okay. So do we have a problem, or?
No, everything Leaselock did up there is completed with the exception of patching around one catch basin, which they're gonna do when they do all the patching on
All right, so what
Ridgeview.
should we do with this homeowner, though?
Brian, maybe you should
Yeah,
call him and
gotta-
walk him through.
Okay,
Like,
Yeah, would you?
Clearly
was that this
he
police officer.
he thought that there was a piece of the project that had not been completed.
okay.
Yeah.
I think I know who Tom is.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions for Brian? Okay, thanks, Brian.
Sure.
Move on. We've already heard from Bob, under committee reports for finance and audit. We've received a page from the architectural control committee. Looks like you're busy there, Bill. Let's see. Information from the maintenance committee, the rules and regs committee, social and rec, and the branding media committee is in your folder and online. We have a presentation from the strategic long-range plan committee, or do we? Rick, are you going to be making a presentation tonight, or shall I just announce our meeting on June 1st?
Pat, just that we're not going to present tonight. It's the same presentation we presented to the board 2 weeks ago. And then
Okay.
you can proceed with our plans for the next 2 weeks.
Okay, so I will announce that we're planning a presentation to the community of the results of the strategic long-range plan survey from 2021 for June 1st, and I believe it's 7 p.m.
That is correct.
Rick, 7 p.m. And Rick, I think the Zoom information has already gone out on that, for community members who want to participate, and I would encourage everyone to do that. It's really an interesting report.
Pat, can I go back to social and rec for a
Sure.
second? This is a question to Megan. With what you're proposing as far as use of this room, does it change anything that's being presented from social and rec?
No,
Not at all?
no.
Okay, thank you.
And I've communicated with Rob.
Okay, okay.
We have a page from the Nominating and Leadership Development Committee and a page from the Landscape Committee. Dennis, is there anything you want to add to your report? Maybe not.
No, ma'am. I wouldn't mind seeing a copy of the report.
Isn't that his report?
Yeah, I thought it was his report. In our package. Social, nominating and leadership, communication. There's no reporting. That may be what he's referring to.
Dennis, did you submit a report?
No, I had some personal business I had to take care of and didn't make the deadline.
Okay, no
That
problem.
explains it.
Hey, Dennis, I'd like to see it too.
Dennis, sorry for that. I just read the report, the agenda as indicating we have a page from you. But, you can provide it to us next month.
Thank you.
Okay, no report from the Wi-Fi and Connect Community Committee, but we do have a report from Chris Humble and the Communications Committee. So do I have a motion to accept the committee reports?
So moved.
Motion by Bob, second?
I'll second.
Second by Joan Eddie. Any questions on the motion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So ordered. Okay, other reports. Deanne, would you like to give us a short update on the status of the treatment plant?
Sure, thanks. We anticipate doing the asphalt paving up to the concrete pavement for the driveway by mid-next week. This is needed to get the certificate of occupancy because there's an ADA requirement, and the ADA access, and I'm not sure why ADA is required at that building, but it's not worth the argument. ADA access has to be completed before the authorities will come out and issue the certificate of occupancy. Once the certificate of occupancy is issued, it's gonna be put together with the final as-bills, which should also be done by next week. And at that time, they will be submitted with the completion of construction documents to the DEP. We've run some preliminary bacteria tests, and all the preliminary tests have come back 0 in bacteria content. So things are finally headed in the right direction. Those supporting documents for the bacteria test will also be submitted to the DEP in the package. So we now need to wait for a couple of governmental agencies to finish their review and to give us a good stamp of approval before we can open the system up and put it into the water flow of Hidden Valley. So we are rounding a corner. And after that, there's some line flushing that has to be done, which you may or may not even know is gonna happen, or may not cause you any problem. And then midsummer, there'll be divers in the tank to clean the tank out, which is an annual event, and most of the homeowners probably do not even know that it's going on or when it goes on. So, there's gonna be some flushing of lines that need to be done after we get the DEP approval. And then there'll be some residential flushing that also needs to be done. Need to clean out the lines that run from the mains into the house, through your hot water tanks, through your lines. So that flushing will be done. And there'll be, publication, there'll be some notices issued as to when that process is gonna take place. So we're getting closer. We're not there yet, but we're getting closer. And hopefully this will take care of the manganese issue in the water, should eliminate the brown coloring. Now, there will be breaks from time to time, and if the lines break, which happens everywhere, there'll be some brown water, but it's manageable and it'll be short-lived. It won't be long-going like we have now.
Great,
Any questions? Okay.
that's good news.
Pat, I would just add to that, this past week, Hidden Valley Utility Services filed their mandatory 60-day status report with the PUC. So I received it the other day, and they do comment on exactly what Dan said, their plans. The one other thing that was reported this week is it sounds like they do have the diver scheduled to clean and paint the tank the first week of June.
Okay.
Yeah.
He didn't have that date last Friday when I talked to him.
Yep.
Okay. He said midsummer was his comment. Do you have a copy of that report?
I had to, and I will
When you
send
get
it.
a chance.
Yep, I will get it to everybody,
Thank you.
and the
Okay.
committee.
That's all good news.
Yeah, it's all good news.
Yeah.
It's, it's been a long road, but, it seems to be headed in the right direction here.
Okay, great. We have a copy of the security report in our folder. We received, communication from Chris, who is following, the Jefferson Township Supervisor meeting. All good information. I will note that they're planning to put together a paving plan for the area from the golf course down toward, Route 31. So that will be helpful.
They did a great job
They-
of cleaning up
They
the
did.
winter
They've done a
stuff.
great job
They
cleaning
did.
up. And, probably time to send them a thank you note.
Chris, we really appreciate you going to
I
those
know.
meetings. I think just having a Hidden Valley presence at those meetings conveys a message that, hey, guys, we're part of the township. Don't forget it.
Oh, wait, he's been invited to Boston, so he's now in.
Part of the in crowd.
He's the in crowd now.
Good job though, Chris, really.
Did you see the Facebook article about Doug, running for
I did.
board over there?
Didn't-
I don't know if anybody has a vote,
I do.
but it would be nice if it's the primary resident, go over and vote for him. It'd be good to have a Hidden Valley representative.
There were 55 of us that did.
Oh, that's wonderful.
I didn't hear you.
There were 55 of us.
Oh, 55 that did?
There were
Oh, good.
55 of us who did, unfortunately.
Oh,
The other individual got a lot more.
at 65, okay,
Okay,
okay. That would've been nice if you'd gotten on.
Yeah.
That would've helped.
good effort by Doug, the first effort.
It's all right, it's the first step.
First
It's-
effort.
It's the first step.
10.4 is the salt dome update. I think everybody has thought of that as, being related to the potential new salt dome project, along, Gardner Road. And so, we're not going to, I don't think we're gonna include that on the agenda anymore. To the extent we have information on repair or maintenance of the existing salt dome, it will be that report.
But we do have we do have a report though, do we
Yeah.
not? Brian, that we now have our own gate and access from maintenance?
Yes, so we installed a second gate on the road that accesses only the salt dome and our materials.
Great.
So if the main gate is left open or, you know, whatever happens, ours will be shut at all times.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you for taking care of that.
Sure.
Again, we have a, report, and we're looking forward to the presentation by the Strategic Long Range Planning Committee with regard to the results of their most recent survey, and we'll hear that on June 1st. Okay, anybody have any other committee reports? If not, we'll move on to new business. Everybody has had an opportunity to review the uniform enforcement policy. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to improve the uniform enforcement policy.
Motion by John Eddie, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Bill Leisha. Any questions on the motion?
John, was that missing letter that they put in that policy?
Yes, Mike.
It
Yes.
wasn't in there, son, okay, I didn't get a
Yes.
chance to look at it.
Yes, that was taken.
Okay, good, great.
John, when will this policy go into effect? Is it effective immediately upon the board?
No, because, yes, it'll go in, no, it will not go into effect immediately. We have to have a sit-down with security. Because again, this is not to be punitive. This is to allow our security and our staff to have tools that if we have to pull the trigger on something, we have something in writing that we can pull the trigger.
Okay.
But this is not to be punitive. And that's gonna be I talked to Mike Myers, the supervisor for Allied this afternoon, and we've got to set up meetings after tonight to find out exactly what we're doing, why we're doing it, and
Why don't we modify the motion, to, adopt the uniform enforcement policy to be effective July 1?
yes,
Okay, everybody okay with that?
I can live with that.
Okay. Effective July 1. Bill, are you okay with that modification?
I'm good.
Okay, good. Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Thanks for all your hard work on that, John,
Oh, maybe too.
and Megan as well. Do we have a motion to approve the fiscal year budget for 2021-2022 as presented by the treasurer?
I'll make a motion to accept the annual budget presented by Treasurer Bob Kohler.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Dan Martin. Any questions on the motion?
Just the comment from earlier, Pat, let's clarify where we are with the landscaping budget and make sure we have those numbers updated.
I will make sure I address that, question of Dennis's, Chris.
Thanks, Bob.
If there's no further questions, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So ordered. Bob, thanks for your hard work on that.
Thank you.
Do I have a motion to approve the Highlands restroom project?
Pat, maybe just for the homeowners, maybe just, Brian, you could do a little brief
Yeah, why don't you
description
do
on
that?
what that project is.
I can do that. So the new restroom is proposed in an area between the security office and the maintenance garage. It's an area that is currently just, it's a storage closet. So the purpose of the restroom is to give, staff, employees, and vendors a place to go that is not here in the office or the restroom facility for the Highlands Pool itself. Fantastic idea, in general. So that's the location and thought process behind it. It does include, a grinder pump in the commode, to tie into our existing plumbing in the building. That way we wouldn't have to do any excavation to tie into the sewer in the middle of a parking lot. That being said, you know, they do go bad, but they're fairly inexpensive for what they are. So, you know, buy one off the shelf and put it in 5-8 years when that happens. So it's that commode with the grinder pump and a small storage tank under it that pump it to the piping elsewhere in the building. And then, just a very simple wall mount vanity, just somewhere to wash your hands. We did reach out to 3 vendors, Fraser Plumbing, Shane Schaefer, and Benjamin Franklin. All 3 came and looked at the project, with Bill and with myself. Unfortunately, Benjamin Franklin, was not interested in the project. They did not submit a bid. Shane Schaefer, submitted a proposal. It was very informal. It was essentially an email saying, we're gonna do it for $5,200 if you guys buy all the stuff. I asked him quite a few times for something a little more formal, never got a response. And Fraser Plumbing, they provided all the formal proposal, all the documentation showing what was proposed. And they're a company that has been doing work for the foundation and homeowners for multiple years. So their price all in was $6,875.
Does management have a recommendation, Brian?
Yes, Fraser Plumbing. Maintenance committee took a look at it and they said the same thing.
Okay.
So, do I have a motion to approve Fraser?
Right, let me ask you a question, that's a pass-through, is it not? Right?
Yes, so you have, no,
There's a door on both sides.
there's a door on both sides, but there's also a door to access it directly from the outside.
Okay.
So you're not going into security, you're not going into the maintenance garage to access it straight through.
Is there a motion to approve Fraser Plumbing for the Highlands Restroom project?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Bob,
I'll second.
second by Bill Leisha. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So ordered. Anybody, Megan, do you have a report?
Did we skip over the executive director's? I didn't see it.
Nothing formal,
Okay.
unless you have something you want me to.
You know what, Megan, why don't you let everybody know what's going on here in the office?
Okay, maybe we need to frame that a little.
Yeah, well, with regard to the land.
Okay.
Yes, the office,
Everybody's a joker.
the office has been undergoing quite a change the last couple of weeks with reconfiguring some of the office space in order to get a better setup for the staff that we have in place now and moving forward with our self-management. We did get some new office furniture, and as Brian mentioned in his report, we also have done some general housekeeping in the area with fixing up some walls, moving some things, getting new coats of paint, installing a closet. So we are trying to work and make the area here at the Southbridge Center a little bit more accessible and for the staff as well as others who want to come in and use the facility for rentals.
Great. And when do you anticipate that work being completed?
We are hoping that we're aiming to be complete before Memorial Day weekend,
Okay.
I'll call this phase 1. We have other things planned, but that's for another time down the road.
Okay, good. Megan, to that point, would you make an announcement about the change in office hours or office availability?
Yes. We are going to change the office hours here at the Southbridge Center from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. That will also be reflected in the availability via phone, so you'll be able to start calling in the office at 8, and the phone lines will shut off at 4. And you will be able to come into the office beginning Memorial Day weekend. It will be open to the public we will ask that you are still going to wear your mask if you do decide to come into the building. Also, to go along with that, the great room will be available for rental. That's going to increase in accordance with the governor's orders to 75%. So to give you an idea, that'll be around 37, 38 people, depending on the size of your group. And if you are having a large event, we are going to continue to ask that you pay for the COVID cleaning that's going to take place after an event like that.
Okay, great.
Maybe pool opening and pool hours, Nick, do you want to?
Pool opening will be Saturday, May 29th, which is also going to be in conjunction with the carnival that day. I believe it's 9 a.m. at both Highlands and Southbridge Center. And we anticipate a lot of fun that weekend for the families who are going to come out and enjoy the pool areas.
Okay, great. So our next meeting day is Saturday, June 19th at 9. At that point, at the very least, this building would be 75%, but probably 100% open in accordance with the governor's regulations. So I would suggest that we have an open meeting that day. And so we hope those of you who have been loyal attendees by Zoom, join us in person. If we feel we're going to get an overwhelming crowd, we may even go outside.
If we're inside, do you anticipate continuing the Zoom option, Pat?
I think we should.
I think we
We
should.
probably should, in which case we'll need to be inside, right?
Yeah, it would be hard to.
So if that,
If we're gonna be spending the money for the upgrade on the camera and figure, might as well keep doing it.
okay,
And plus, I think we've had people attend maybe that would not come in person.
absolutely, okay. So, the important point is that on Saturday, June 19th, you're welcome to come in person, or to attend by Zoom. So we hope everybody's,
And that's gonna be the next June, July, August, and September.
at least June, July, and August. Is it September as well?
I don't remember.
So that's part of it.
Okay. Okay, so, we hope to see everyone on June 19th at 9 a.m. Anything else for the good of the order? If not, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Dan,
Second.
second by Bob. I'm going to assume we're all in favor. Okay, well, thanks to everyone for attending, and hope to see you at the June meeting, if not before.
Good night, everyone.
Night, everybody.
Good night.
Night.
They want to hang on?
President John, can you hang on?
Yes.
Want the rest of us to speak up? Oh, okay. I don't know if we need to step on.
No, I just had, actually, one thing I wanted to talk to the.
I wasn't done with my list.
What?
I wasn't done with my list.
Oh, no, Becky.
I'm joking.
Wait, we gotta hang some people up. We gotta.
Yes, gotta get rid of some of them. I don't think we can end,
Yeah.
Go to participants.
we don't want to do that. There we go.
Oh, yeah, right there.
There we go.
Oh, wait.
They voted.
There we go. Looks like we got rid of her. No, wait, some hanger on.
One hanger on.
Hey, the other Chris, can you hang up?
I'm trying to just.
Put in waiting room.
Is that Chris Lundberg?
Yeah. There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
Okay. Megan, do you have anything?
I only have
Go ahead.
two more things, I promise.
Didn't have a report yet.
Wait, Dan, it's an informal.
Yeah.
We had talked about overflow parking.
Yep.
And some additional spaces that would be needed, especially out here around the Southbridge Center for the summer and the pool area. I spoke with Bob. He said there's about $10,000 in the budget for additional parking So I would say my recommendation for where we start would be to look at this upper lot here and just extend the already existing spaces down as far as we can without cutting, touching anything else and seeing how much that costs. And then if we have anything additional from there.
Well, I think the other spaces we talked about, except for going down here, people can just pull in. I mean, if we don't do
Right.
gravel right now, because I know maintenance is behind because of what they have to do.
Yes.
So people can still pull in to where they wanna be, we'll be fine.
Brian, how much space do you think we can get over there without ripping out trees?
I bet you could double it.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Just thinking in my head.
We
We might get
We
8
have
to
one
10.
small one we gotta take.
Okay,
Nothing.
Okay,
and that won't have any issue with the, electrical box that's there, right?
No, when they put that in, we intentionally told them to put it back.
Okay,
Because
okay.
and then next year we'll be able to cut down a few trees and we'll cut off the basketball court so we can park on it. We have space now, we're gonna.
La, la, la.
Yeah, exactly,
No, I was just thinking about the right of way, it's only asphalt.
Right, it's asphalt, yeah.
Okay,
Okay. All right, and then the last thing that I have was the snow removal RFP, and Pat, you touched on this earlier. It was finalized, and I am going to be sending it out next week, just so everybody is aware.
How many
So
do you
we're
have you're gonna send out
anticipating
to?
sometime in June, being able to name a vendor.
Okay.
I think, Brian, between the two of us, we have a list of about 8 or
I
9,
was gonna say 8.
8 or 9.
Great,
Yep.
that's good.
I wonder if JML will bid on it this year.
They're on the list, we'll see.
They're on, I wouldn't hold your breath.
I know.
No.
They got 75 plows off the turnpike at, Armourville, so.
Yeah.
I remember they were interested when they first came on board up here.
Mhm.
Yeah, they
Probably a staffing issue would be my guess.
I think it's a staffing issue, it's a travel time issue. I think that's mainly it, just getting here in a timely manner would be a big
Yeah.
concern, you know.
Yeah.
The other accounts they have, most of them are corporate accounts, so, they gotta be there 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
It's different.
Do you wanna talk about the, pad for the compactor, what we discussed? Brian and I have been working through the placement down at the Highlands for the compactor. He identified 2 areas that are very, very close to each other, in that area where we could potentially set up, put some fill in, and get the concrete reinforcement in there for the recycling compactor. Correct me if I'm wrong, the water company did a project and they have fill, that they said we can tap. But due to manpower, need someone else to come in and move that if that's the direction we want to go in.
When was it decided to put it at Highlands?
It was proposed as an option, instead
Okay,
of putting it outside of Southbridge. I don't think any final decisions have been made. We outlined some options on the map.
so are these options at Highlands going to be visible to condo owners at Highlands?
Right.
So, it's gonna be located about 55 feet, give or take, what Google Map tells me, a couple feet, to Gristmill Court, which is the upper road in the Highland condos.
So not the question I asked, Brian. The question I asked was, is it going to be visible to condo owners?
It will be visible, yes.
Then it shouldn't be there then.
Could we do some kind of privacy fence?
What's wrong with Southbridge? There's no visibility to homeowners.
I think the argument for Southbridge was it being the center of sort of the activity that occurs here with the pool and the great room rentals and et cetera.
I'm sorry, those are infrequent activities. People shouldn't have to stare at a compactor.
Okay, let's look at it a different way, Brian. Could we put a pad down at the salt dome? And what's our cost to do that? It's a pad, correct?
Yeah, it's asphalt,
And that's it.
right.
That would solve the issue of Gristmill, it would solve the issue of Highlands. It would also solve some of the issue during the summer with people crossing the road to get to the pool, that parking lot.
John, do you think people will drive down there to do that?
How do we get,
And now you're locking the, I mean, not you, but we're locking the fence.
right,
I'm just trying to think through.
I'm throwing things out, Dan.
I mean, I think it's a good place for it, it's out of the way, but
I'm throwing things out, and I guess it comes down to, okay, what do we do?
But John, we have a dirty great dumpster up at the Southridge Centre now, which most weekends has stuff stacked on the floor around it. And all of a sudden we're concerned about a compactor.
Well, we were concerned about compactor. The question is, where do we put it to the most benefit? And within reason. Is Southridge Center the best place to put it? And I think there'll be enough argument on the members of the board that'll say yes and no. You've got homeowners that say no, they don't want it up here. So what are our options? Option one, keep it here, okay, fine. Option two, look at the Highland Center, can we put it there within reason and either landscape it or put a privacy fence up that blocks it from the views of everybody else around here, including Gristmill and the other Highlands, maybe, maybe not. We have space down at the, where the Salt Dome is, but you raise a great point. How do people get there? And I don't have an answer for that, Chris. I just don't want to see, I'm sorry, I just don't want to see garbage piled up out here during the summer.
No, and John, I'm 100% in agreement with you. We have that problem today, right?
right.
Yeah.
There's garbage piled up out there now, but you also, you know, from a homeowner perspective, and look, I live on Veach, right? So, but it wouldn't matter, you know. So just to get that out there from a transparency perspective, I live on Veach. My condo looks across the playground. I'm not sure I want to look at a dumpster, whether it's a compactor and the noise of it, whether it's landscaped or not. You know, people don't take care of their trash today, which is why it's a problem at Southridge. So if we're going to do this, we've got to be the least impact to the homeowners.
Agreed. So let me throw this out to you. Would you rather look at an area that is devoid of trees and greenery, because that's what you're looking at when you're looking up from Gristmill towards the Highland Center, or would you rather look at landscaping of trees or privacy fence or whatever that could hide something that has the potential to save foundation money in the long term?
John, I'm open to all alternatives, right? But let's just not lose sight of the fact that if we put it at Highlands, you are having an impact on homeowners that you're not having at Southridge.
And the other, well, there is another option now. I know we talked about of going into the wetlands or that area, backfilling, right? Just out of curiosity, what would happen if we put it straight into the mound going up to the tennis court and dug 10, 15 feet out of that, Brian?
It could work, you could cut and fill.
Yeah, well, but my thought is you can still get to the tennis court and pickleball court by going up around and coming in from the top side rather than parking down there and walking up. There's still access to the tennis court from on top.
Right.
But if we were to dig that back and slide it in there, does that alleviate some of the concerns that Chris might have? And I can't answer that because I'm just talking off the top of my head right now.
I think it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Okay.
I really do.
My point, I think the point I really probably want to make, John, is if we're going to do this, we need to study it properly and make sure it has the least impact wherever it goes. Okay.
Agreed.
Just getting a half-ass, and I apologise, but getting a half-ass quote for putting a pad and some power in is not the right way to look at this.
No, there was no. Chris, it wasn't about making a final decision, it was going to Brian and say, what if? What if we did it here, what would it take to do it? So that's all it was to see, is this an option?
But let's look at that and look at how you, to your point, how do you screen it, landscape it, how do you minimise the impact?
It hasn't been that bad.
I was just gonna ask that, Bill, how,
It's been pretty clean.
now that the number of people here has gone back,
You got your jacket.
it hasn't been as bad?
I don't think so.
Not like it was before,
We're gonna take bets on here, what happens on Memorial Day weekend?
no.
Well, the holidays are
That's a big weekend.
Yeah, 152 isn't bad.
That's expected.
Yeah, or, you know, and we know it'll be back 4th of July.
Well,
And
we-
then-
To be clear, it doesn't matter whether it's been clean or not, it's what are you looking at?
Well, Chris, when I was involved with Brian, it seemed like you two took over, okay? I'm out of it, all right? But, with the Highland Center, we thought about going down to solid ground, so we got something solid, all right? So we just put the recycle down there for now, get it out of here, make this recycle here a garage. And we got a lot of storage, and you wouldn't even see the recycle.
So no compactor, just
No
a place
compactor
to
for now.
unload your recycling.
Get our feet wet, because I don't think it's too bad right now. In the 30-yard dumpster, when we had the double dumpster in April, the second dumpster took 3 weeks to fill it up. We probably don't need that for contractors.
But to Chris's point, is that something that if you're looking out your balcony, are you going to see that?
We talked about a natural setting around it,
Right, we did.
trees around it, so you won't see,
You would really
not affect.
mask it.
What about the property that was built or bought for the salt dome?
No, you can't put it with the
Yeah.
down there.
We'd have to, we'd have to,
You put it by that neighbor, you just don't wanna put it by those neighbors.
It's too far.
well, yeah,
It's
it's too,
the same,
And it would be
it's far away, I
there
agree.
would be no one around there, I think.
I think what the survey, the Slurp survey said, we support recycling,
Recycling,
right?
big one.
So we've got a couple options. We put in the budget for weekly pickups for recycling, right? So we said, hey, we're gonna respond to the homeowner's request, weekly recycling pickups. So it's in there. So I think what Chris is saying is, hey, let's be thoughtful in terms of, if we're going to do this, if we're gonna buy a compactor, let's be thoughtful in where we place it. There is a good return on investment. If
Yeah,
it cuts
there
our
is.
pickup for the month, we say it's 2.5-year payback. If you cut the pickups to 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, it's a 4-year payback. So good financial decision, but that's not the aesthetics and the placement decision.
That's right.
I don't know the property well enough, but there's no other little nook somewhere that you can cut down 3 trees.
The only other place that crossed my mind is across the road here. We own that property, on Southridge Court.
Correct, we do.
That woods across there, that could be an option.
That was my parking.
That's, again, that's a
But that's like
two weekend a month a year job, profit.
Where?
No, Gristmill Court, so it's the next parking lot on the left here, past the foundation office.
Yeah,
So if you go back that
in
parking,
Southridge Court.
yes, excuse me, yes, Southridge Court.
I'm easily confused.
Yeah, sorry. If you, as soon as you turn in there, the woods on the right, we own that section in
But
there.
that's so nice.
It is.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it there.
So, just me thinking, if I could make a suggestion, if we wanna entertain the dumpster at Highlands, one, reach out to Gibson Thomas, see what they would recommend for layout, design, ballpark, and what that's gonna cost. And then, we've utilized Wallace Patcher before to get renderings. Once they can kinda work with Gibson Thomas, or Gibson Thomas may have someone to give everyone a visual of what that would look like.
And what do you think it's gonna cost, just out of curiosity?
To put the fill?
No, what you just said about bringing in Gibson Thomas and all that, give me a rough, just a rough guesstimate, I'm not gonna hold you to it.
$5,000.
Then why do it? I mean, if we're, why do it? If we're gonna spend that kind of money, keep it there.
Well, but Bill, I had never heard this before, Bill, but you talked about converting what this is to a garage. We desperately need storage space.
Need a
That's
full furniture.
an interesting option to me.
Put a garage door in the front and a gable roof.
Put a gable roof on it, yeah.
That's perfect for there.
You're gonna have to put the compactor under some kind of,
Well, no compactor right now, okay?
oh, just a
So
double.
take the recycle, put it down Highlands for now, let it sit down there for a while. I mean, you have trucks parked down there, okay,
Would
that's an eyesore.
Would it be easily accessible, Brian? I mean, you can pull up, you can walk down the path where your stuff, and then you got another path you gotta maintain in the winter, so that there's.
You're saying just put it in the parking area in front of the,
Put our parking area.
Oh.
but tuck it, I envision tucking it back in the corner.
That's where we had
At the
it
end.
before.
For summer, Bill, we gotta put it back in the corner. I gotta have
Yeah.
parking spaces.
Right.
Well, even if people that play tennis,
No, I meant-
football, all that other shit.
No, it's gonna be back in the corner.
Oh, yeah, no, but that's all, that was the whole idea, Dan, was to give that parking down there, and if we did put it down there, you could still get access by walking up around the pool
Yeah, but I mean,
and coming from High Top.
people that drive, quite a few people that drive over there.
Yeah.
I know.
Lots of people drive up here to drop off.
Well, they do, they
Many,
drive.
many.
It's the most common way, I think.
I agree with Chris, we do gotta look at it. It's just, Chris, it was not to step on anybody's toes. It was to get an idea, could we, what would it run to do it? That's all the farther it was.
John, don't get me wrong, I'm fine with looking at it, but let's look at it from, you know, how do you accommodate, you locate the dumpster and you make it as sort of, as in minimally invasive as possible.
And I'm Chris's neighbor, so we got 2 votes on the board, Chris.
Well, but again, Pat, just so we're, just for clear, and I want to make sure people understand this. From where my condo is, I won't see it. I can't see Highland Centre from my desk.
I don't see it from.
Okay,
But people on Gristmill Court will, people on Tanyard or whichever the one is up there, will see it, right? And to me, there's a difference between having a maintenance truck there, which, you know, comes and goes, and a dumpster where you know, some people don't consider putting the stuff in the dumpster to be the right way to use it. They think leaving it on the floor at the side is the right way to do it, because that's what happens today.
okay.
Well, if we put it behind the building and fence it just like it is now.
So if we can do it there and it's the best place to put it and we can make it minimally, you know, invasive to people, but let's just make sure we don't come back with a, you know, a low bid just to put a pad in and move a dumpster. Okay?
Okay.
That's all I'm asking.
Okay, thanks, everyone. Anything else, Megan? Just, one comment, everybody's probably aware, Social and Rec has a pretty big weekend planned next weekend. We don't yet have our associate director, here to manage the pool. We have identified, a head lifeguard, and, you know, that's the good news, and he has been here for 3 years, maybe more.
Yes.
And so I feel as if we've got some good leadership there. But just a comment, you know, the Social and Rec Committee is working hard to put together next weekend. I think if you're up here as a board member, because we're not gonna have staff, Megan has a personal issue that she's gonna be taking care of next weekend. Certainly, Anna, you're welcome to attend. I think we should do our best to be here and support the effort and, you know, kind of welcome people to a new pool season.
Say what?
Consider it done.
Where's that in the call?
Oh, come on, have a hot dog.
Where's that in your project description, huh?
Okay, that's all I got. And does anybody have anything else?
The first service, cute little logo that's at the bottom, that when you click on it, goes right to their webpage, is that gonna get changed? So we don't have to.
As soon as we can.
Well, I mean, if we're going, switching over at midnight, whenever, Friday
Well,
night.
that's
No,
for employees,
That's for employees.
nothing else.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna,
June 30th.
Well, I meant the newsletter, the letter, the emails are gonna go out, I think he sends it out.
wanna
Your
talk
logo,
about,
your name over the logo.
I mean,
That'll be gone.
the
We've established
the
HVF Day email account,
transition.
and everybody will start to use,
You're right.
I would say, what I've been using that has Mountain Life is Calling logo
Okay, yeah, okay.
and Valley Foundation with our information.
Did I have
Should
some,
we, as homeowners that pay quarterly, as it comes out of our checking account, should we be calling our banks now to?
No.
Not
Oh,
yet.
It doesn't
No,
sound.
No,
okay.
we'll be sending out
Okay.
notification and timing. If the bank accounts aren't yet set up
Right.
in Valley.
But that's why I'm asking, is this?
Yeah.
No, good question.
I want your money, but just wait.
You know what, maybe I'll do what other people do. See me after a year, maybe I'll pray.
You'll show up on this list.
We all have to wait.
You know what, there is Sarah Eddy on here, is that
I
right?
have no, you know what, and I have no idea.
Okay. Somebody asked me this question, I don't know the answer to it. They don't live in the Highlands, and they use the Highlands pool.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, it's not restricted to.
No.
Okay, all right.
They're both community pools.
That's the answer I gave him, I didn't know it was right, or I thought he was.
It's the same thing with parking, Dan. Anybody can park wherever they want to.
Anywhere, yeah.
Tell them to walk, they just can't park there.
Hey, John and Chris, anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
No, I'm okay.
John, how's the weather in Texas?
Not bad, about 85.
Not much different here today.
Yeah.
No. Yep, 2 days ago it was warmer there than it was here.
You miss us, don't you?
We'll be there
Let me
soon.
think.
Sorry, you're breaking up, John.
Okay, guys, well, thank you very much, and see everybody next weekend.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Say that again, sorry.